Well, welcome to Guy Talk. Pete, it's great to see you again.
Great to be here, buddy.
Great to see you, man. It's great to see you. And today we have Gary, and Peter and I met in July uh, we did a podcast, and Peter was the one who put a lot of this together, and we'll tell you a little bit about him. I found out at dinner over some nice steaks at Gallagher's that Peter was in the Marine Corps. He was a force recon guy, another special operations guy. He did 8 years there, got out and became got into the auto business and dealers and stuff. Did over a decade there,
Yeah.
sort of killing it.
A little more than that.
A little bit more than that. Did a great job there, and then got into the marketing and advertisement business,
Yeah.
and then killed that as well. And then COVID came along, some things got a little adjusted and stuff. Peter decided he's getting out of that, and Peter decided he was going to start with this wonderful Warrior Havens USA, and he was a co-founder of this great organization. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today and share that information with people, and maybe get some folks to jump on board and help us with this and drive this train downtown.
That'd be great.
So Peter, welcome to Warriors Haven. Welcome to Guys Talk, and thanks to Warriors Haven for having us. I see you got the shirt on; it's great.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about yourself for the beginning. I threw some stuff out there. Tell me some more.
Well, first off, this is the biggest honor of my life to serve in the Marine Corps. I went in at 17 years old. I tricked my father into signing the documents and to get in early.
Did you have to leave town, Peter?
No, it's not leave town. I just, I grew up in Rochester, New York.
Uh-huh.
And if you've ever been to Rochester, you'd know why I want to leave it.
Right.
I've been back all 5 times since 1980. I've been back all 5 times. Just never wanted to be there.
Right.
Right. So
never look back.
Nope.
Never look back.
I never look back anyway. The only regret I have in life is actually getting out of the Corps. I think after 8 years.
Huh.
And actually, I was just telling Marty the other day, after 9/11, I tried to get back in. They told me I was too slow, too fat, and too old to get back in after 9/11. So it was just that's the only regret.
Well, age will catch up to all of us, Peter.
Yeah,
he's catch up to all of us for sure. But as a too fat, not at all. Too slow. I don't know, maybe, but it catches up. It catches up with all of us. So you got into the automotive business and selling vehicles and dealerships.
Funny story. I came down here back then. It was the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
The cocaine cowboys were going on back then.
Right.
I was actually going to go to work for the DEA, and just kind of happenstance that I was working as a bouncer at a place called the Mallet. And
how appropriate.
Yeah, it's funny. And I got that job by just accident. I broke up a fight, and the owner of the bar, who happened to be one of the owners of the bar, happened to be in the bar at the time when I broke up the fight, just because the guy ran into me and pissed me off while I was dancing. And I stopped it pretty quickly, and he hired me to be the bouncer, and I could drink all I wanted and make $50 to $100 a night. So
perfect.
Perfect. And another guy came in probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and said, "You're wasting your time being a bouncer. Why don't you come work for me selling cars?"
Huh.
And I said, "This is crazy. I'm not going to sell cars for a living." I still had a vision in my mind of, plaid pants and somebody wearing,
right,
shiny shoes.
And lying about those used cars.
Yeah, right. So there's no way. And I couldn't tell the guy what I was really going to be doing, which was basically, breaking down doors and letting other guys go in and making the arrests.
Right.
That's really what I was down there for.
Right.
But that isn't, So anyway, make a long story short, I went in, I decided to go ahead and do it. I had nothing else better to do during the day. I started selling cars on, I think it was like the 16th or 17th of the month. By the 30th, I had 19 cars out.
Wow.
And the average car salesman back then was selling about 9 or 10 cars a month.
Wow.
So
So you
that
doubled
year.
it in half a month.
Yeah. The end of that year, for that dealership, I was the salesman of the year. By the next year, I was salesman of the year for Nissan of America. And
so you climbed that ladder pretty quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I loved it.
And then
I still love
it. And then you got into the dealership how?
Yeah. I just, I
just worked your way right up.
Worked my way up. Yeah. I ended up running 32 stores throughout the country.
Wow.
I worked for some of the top dealers in the country, some of the best mentors in my life. I worked for guys like Larry Van Tile, Ken Hall, right down here, Loop Back Road. Met, Wayne Huizinga, which was, guy, one of my biggest mentors was Rick
Top
Case.
shelf guys.
Rick Case turned out to be one of the biggest mentors in my life. He and Rita were just unbelievable philanthropic mentors, which is how I got into giving back, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
When you look at Rick and Rita and you understand how they gave back, quick story. Back, you remember when the turn was back, the first turn back in 07 or 08?
Yeah.
I looked back and said, I was doing a lot with the Boys and Girls Club back then.
Right.
And I was thinking about, this is back when I had the agency. And things were really tight. I mean, a lot of dealers were spending a lot of money on advertising back then. Everybody was pulling back.
Right.
And I kept on watching Rick keep on giving the same amount to all the Boys and Girls Clubs all throughout. And I asked him one day, I said, Rick, I don't see you changing the spend, and I'm pulling back a little bit. And I asked him quite bluntly, and he goes, their needs didn't change.
Wow. That's a
pretty freaking incredible thing to say, right?
Yeah.
He said, in the overall scheme of things, it will change the bottom line to our businesses, but it's not going to affect my life.
Right.
And it's going to affect their lives. So I need to keep on moving forward. And from that day forward, and I'll get emotional thinking about it, it changed how I looked at philanthropy from that day forward.
And you've taken it to another step.
Yeah. And I never changed from that day forward. I never changed how I gave, whether it changed how my bottom line looked, it did, but I never changed how I gave from that day forward.
Huh. So, from a business standpoint, the business is giving X amount of dollars, it changes that bottom line. But and what he was saying, it didn't affect my life.
No.
So he was still living a good life, but he knew other people weren't.
Right.
And needed help. And the business might suffer a little bit, but it'll come back.
No, he believed it never affected his business, but he truly believed that it'll always come back to you. If you treat your community right and you treat the people around your community right, it'll treat you right.
Yeah.
Right. And he meant that it's him and his family are always going to do well. Right.
Right.
So you need to treat your community, no matter what it does to your bottom line of your businesses, whatever your businesses are, it's going to do right. And he says, you're always going to give back. Whenever you're going to give back, you can never pull back, and just keep on pushing forward. And he felt that it'll all work out in the end, whether it's this year or next year or the following year, it's always going to have an impact. And the more you do, the more it'll get back.
I got to tell you, I've known you now for about 8 months, 9 months, and I'm a pretty good judge of character, I think. And I can see that same quality in you. I see that.
Well, it's a hell of a compliment.
Yeah, I see it. You've asked me to come over a couple of times and help with a few different things for this great organization that you and your co-founders are building, Warriors Haven USA. And anytime you guys call, first I was doing it because of Marty, and now I'm doing it because of both of you. Mm-hmm. So, as a matter of fact, when we first met, I told you when he calls, I usually come. Yeah. So, that's a great thing. What you guys are doing. So tell me about the organization. How did it get started? What was that trigger with you that said, we got to help with this?
47 veterans died from suicide. used to be 22, right? And a lot of people are focused on 22.
Right.
And the more you look at it, that number just keeps on growing. And it grows for different reasons, right? You, Marty, and I, and some of our friends all come from that special operations community. And it's exponentially larger in that community. But you can't outweigh what it does to all veterans. Now, the veteran community as a whole doesn't get treated well. You know it, I know it, Marty knows it. Now, I did a survey when I was leaving the marketing field to look at what was the emphasis of how all the veterans are treated as they get out of the military. What really happens? Why do they fail as general when they come out? What happens in between when they leave the military and they get into civilian life, and what causes that failure? Why did they become homeless? Why did they become alcoholics? Why did they become dependent on a drug? Why do they have marital issues? Why do they separate? Now, it doesn't happen all the time,
right?
But why does that break down, right? Why did they fall back on, and people may get mad at me when I say this. Why do they become a crutch to PTSD, right? Mm-hmm. Why does that become a catch-all phrase?
Right.
I talk about this all the time with Mark, right? I think it's an overused crutch.
I do too.
Right?
I do too.
And it's an unpopular thing to say, but I think it gets looped into this thing that too many people use when it shouldn't be. I think there are cases.
No, I think there's definitely,
and it's a definite thing, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's overused.
Some people throw that lasso around it and try to ride it.
Right. And I don't like it. I think, listen, we go through a lot of effort to make sure that everybody that comes in is well taken care of. First off, we don't charge a veteran a penny. And 100% of the funds goes to the veteran. We don't charge them a penny. And we make sure that everything, right now, there's zero expense. Zero expense. We don't take any salaries. We don't do anything. Everything is 100% goes to the veteran.
And I haven't heard of any other organization that would do that. I mean, everybody has expenses. And I had a couple of charities, that I was given to. And it was always like if they were above 90, if they were in the 90 percentile and above, they were a good organization. You guys are going 100%, which is unheard of.
We're fortunate. Marty and I were both retired. I can only do this because I have Marty.
Yeah.
I'm being straightforward.
Yeah.
And my wife.
Yeah.
Me. Right.
Well, when we got here, she was cleaning up in here.
Yeah.
And I said, I'd help, but I'm not supposed to get sweaty. She immediately dismissed
me. She had a meeting. Nina's got a great job with CVS. And,
right.
And CVS, I got to tell you, listen, I'm blessed by God to have her in my life. I mean, she is absolutely positively the best thing that ever happened to me.
Awesome.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
And she's the reason why it's a farm. Right. And we have equestrian here. She's her love of animals is why we have the equestrian piece and the canine piece. And we believe that that's the reason why we can bring veterans here and indoctrinate them to equestrian. And one of the things that Marty brought to the table is we think that we bring veterans here to feel what they need to go to the next step, right? We're a vocational school that helps them transition, but we also want to see what else they need, right? Do they need a canine? Do they need a dog? Well, people say, well, they need a canine, but what do they need a canine for? Do they need a service dog? Well, I have Parkinson's, right? Somebody with Parkinson's needs a dog for a certain reason. Well, I'll also get seizures, right? My dog is literally trained to my DNA, right? They had to swab my mouth. They had to do it while I did an actual seizure. Nina had to learn how to swab my mouth right after a seizure so that Chesty would actually understand the difference in between my normal DNA and after my DNA was after a seizure, right? Oh. That happened at Big Dog Ranch.
That's pretty complex. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't bring Chesty up here today, but I could have Marty go get Chesty. She could meet him, right? So that you actually understand the complexity of it, right? Well,
Right.
Big Dog Ranch did a great job of doing that, right? And Big Dog Ranch doesn't charge the veteran for that dog,
For their service.
for their service for
Wow.
right? So 100% at no cost.
And that's something that most veterans probably, I know I never heard of it.
No, right? So now you go through that case. Now, when we bring the veteran in here, we find out whether or not they really need that dog. Now, they may need an emotional support dog. They don't need a dog that's $100,000 dog.
Right.
They need a dog that's just a rescue.
Right.
That's all.
Right. Somebody's not going to bite them.
That's right. They just need a dog that's just an emotional support dog that can get up in their lap,
Right.
soothe them, make them feel comfortable. If they see that they're nervous, they soothe them, right? They'll have a dog that puts their paw literally on their foot and soothes them from the moment they sit down, right?
Yeah.
They may need to go out and take time and go out and be with a equine, a horse, and spend a little time. You did it. Right?
Yeah.
You go out, you were with Lulu for a few minutes, and all of a sudden you felt that healing energy.
Oh, I did.
Right?
I did. And actually, when I got done, I think, I don't know who said it, it was Marty or your wife, said, she doesn't usually let people
That was
touch her.
Mina. Touch your face.
Touch your face.
Right? Because horses don't like it when a horse touches their face. You have to have that personal relationship with a horse before a horse will let you touch their face.
And I was very easy going up to her and calming. I thought I was trying to be calming.
Right.
And then she let me just rub the side of her face, and she let me do it for a while.
Right. So when you have that, and all of a sudden that one relationship, and you feel calming, and all of a sudden you have that soothing relationship that allows you to feel calm.
Right.
Right. And it's a different experience.
Yeah.
And then we also have two minis. So we have two horses that are full-grown horses, and then we have two minis, right? So that you can sit down and relax. Because some people are intimidated by a full-size horse. They're a big animal.
Yeah.
Right. So we have two mini horses that are also smaller horses.
You know, they weren't here when I was here last time.
No, actually they were. They were just out, and they were out in the paddock. We have 5 acres.
Oh, right.
Right. So, and we're actually in a raise right now to build a 9,000 square foot facility to have a larger workshop. As you know, we have the workshop down below here, but that's only 1,200 square feet.
And great toys you got down there. And you get some of these veterans in that have a need to try these different things. Building that butcher block or that cutting board that we built, what a challenge. Of course, I made it a little bit more challenging, but you were there to help pull it out, and that was a good thing.
How therapeutic was that, guy?
Oh, we did the whole day on it. We were laughing our butts off, talking, of course, interacting with that military humor.
Well, you and Marty were.
Right. Well, and he's full of humor, sometimes clownish, but
it could have taken 3 hours, took 7 hours.
Right. I felt so much better when I left. As a matter of fact, I think it was about 9 o'clock. You said, "You got to get out of here."
But the thing is that what we're here to do is to bring that back, right?
Right.
How often, since you've been out, did you have a feeling like you were back in the barracks, right?
Right.
That you sat. Now, I belong to a club that is the closest thing I've ever belonged to that made me feel like I'm back in a barracks. And it's the most incredible thing that I've ever belonged to, right? Because it makes me feel like I'm back in Camp Lejeune, or I'm back
a comfortable spot.
Right, where I can sit around with guys and just shoot the shit. Right. And a lot of these guys don't have that anymore. Now, we digress a little bit, back to what I ran. And what I found is that as people exit the military and they go into the actual workforce, and as your listeners listen to this, I promise you that this will resonate. They go out into the workforce, and here they are, they start their first job. And all of a sudden, they find out that the person to the right and the person to the left, that they're coworkers, they don't have their best interests at heart. They're not working in a team. Right? Their boss, if they go in and they try to do their job the way they're supposed to do their job, and they put out their full effort, guess what? Everybody thinks that they're out gunning for their job. Their manager thinks they're gunning for their job. Their coworkers are telling them, slow down.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to make me look bad.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you're doing so much work that you're making me look bad. So now rumors start to fly.
Right.
Right?
Cut through.
Yeah. They don't have a teammate. Secondly, most organizations, I'm not saying all, there's a lot of great organizations that have a path to their success. They walk in, I'll give you a great organization, the JM Family Organization, right? They have a path to success. You walk into that organization, everything that they have gives you a path to success, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly when you walk in, this is what you have to do, and you know exactly where you're going to go, right? A lot of organizations don't have that. You can't walk in and know if you're here for 1 to 3 years, this is what you have to do. And they point it out, and this is how you're going to go from point A to Z. And you know, in the military, you know, if you know that you're going to become from private to a sergeant major from this, right? And as long as you refuse, excuse me, you know that this is what's going to happen. The next thing that happens is that they come out and they know that that didn't happen, right? So now what happens? It's not happening the way they thought it would. What do they turn to? They go home, turn to alcohol, turn to drugs.
Yeah.
They get in fights with their wife, husbands, right?
Yeah.
They're staying out too late.
They get caught up in that circle.
And it's just a constant stupid tornado.
Right. Right.
And so that's what was the start of this. Second thing is that you do have guys and girls that do have women that do have PTSD.
Yeah.
Real PTSD. They can't work with others. They get triggered. So we found that by creating a scenario where we can give them an opportunity to work in an environment that they don't have to work with others, right? And they can make a living of making $150,000 to $200,000 a year.
Good living.
Right?
Yeah.
And work right in their home, create a workshop, doing CNC work, woodworking, and do that, or work in an environment like working for Stanley Steamer, work for an AC company, or work out in public for other people, and just have their own job, have their own truck, and go out and become an electrician, a tradesman. There's nothing wrong with being a tradesman.
Oh, not at all. Not especially that. You're not going to find AI fixing the shorts in that wall.
And it's a huge opportunity.
Right.
So what Marty and I did was we went out and looked at what's the most underserved market for the veterans. Vocation. Right? Everybody wants to go out and service homelessness, drug abuse, PTSD, right?
Yeah.
It's all overserved. Where's all the money going?
Good question. A lot of people have been asking that question a lot.
Where's all the money going?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
We can't find, okay, many schools, if there's any, that are doing what we're out there doing right now. Right?
Yeah.
We have a soup to nuts solution. All right. We bring the veteran in. First thing we do is we give them a DISC profile. Okay? Because if somebody wants to come in and they want to be an accountant, right? But they don't have the ability to sit in a room for 9 hours and look at numbers.
Right. That'll trigger them just as
they're going to trigger them, and they're not going to be able to do it.
So you're looking for a way to build that success line for them
from the start.
From the start.
And then we also sit down and find out what's their financial situation right now. We actually sit down with them and go over their finances, give them a financial planning process so that they understand exactly where they're at. Then we go over for them and give them a plan so that they understand where they're going at. Now, we're not certified financial planners. We're not trying to do that whole program.
Right.
We're just giving them a basic budget.
Right.
so that they understand, hey, look, here's what you need to worry about. Right now, if you want to go down and see a financial planner, here are some good guides and here's some ways to go. Right.
Right.
The next thing we do is we go over with them and say, here's a quick 1 day of woodworking. Here's a quick 1 day of forging, not check forging, forging for knives
and beating metal.
Yeah. Here's a quick 1 day of metal working. Here's a quick 1 day of doing CNC and laser working. And Marty and I went out and we paid for all this equipment.
Right. And I saw it. It's great stuff.
Right.
I saw a lot of that stuff downstairs.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what we'll do for your show if you'd like? We'll give you video and photos of all of that so you can edit it in.
Oh, that'd be great.
Right. So we have all of that in the current workshop that we have. We have lathes. We have everything they need to come in and learn that. Right.
Right.
So we have an introduction. Marty went out and he got relationships because through his ability, he got introduction to AI. So right now, currently, they can go in and learn how to code AI. Right. We have a sales training course. So if they want to become a salesman, we actually have a full blown out sales program where I go in and teach them how to become a salesman. Through my contacts through the automotive industry and Casey, through one of my customers, he's working with me right now to get him into the Toyota through Southeast Toyota to become an automotive mechanic.
That's awesome.
Right? So let's say they want to become a gearhead. We're going to get them into a program by the end of this year to literally go through and become an automotive mechanic. That's something we'll never be able to. So let's say they're coming out of Motor T, right, and they want to become a mechanic. They can make $150,000 to $200,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a good living now. I mean,
right? They'll always have a job.
Right.
And if you become a certified mechanic in the automotive industry, you're set for life. They're looking for them every day.
Yeah. Somebody can make that engine go.
Right.
And they're a lot more complicated than when I was toying with them.
You and me both. Man.
Yeah.
I remember changing a radiator on my, what was it? A 79 Vega.
Vega. I remember this.
74 Vega.
Yeah.
Right. So when we look at these things, that's what we're trying to accomplish, is giving you from start to finish a path forward. A lot of these organizations are telling them they come out, hey, if you're an operator, you should be making 250 to 300 grand. It's not realistic. Right? Just not. We're giving them, look in the mirror. Here's what it's got to be. Then we're showing them how to make a resume. We're showing them how to interview. And then we're mentoring them. Right now, I'm trying to find an online service to partner with to give them to continue on with mental health and no charge. Everybody that works with us has to agree and don't charge, or they can't work, or they can't do it.
That's awesome.
I already have a neurologist. I already have a general practitioner. I have a physician that is a Parkinson's doctor. All these doctors have donated their time. I have an attorney. All of them donated their time at no cost.
Well, it sounds like you circle yourself with good people.
Yeah. Rockefeller said it best. I myself am not an intelligent man. I surround myself with intelligent people.
There you go. There you go. And good people in this case.
Gotta
You
be.
were talking earlier about financial planning and stuff, and you're saying, we don't go in there and say you should be buying this stock or you should be doing that. But you look at their income. I'm bringing in $500 a month or a week or whatever it is now, and but you're spending $100 on booze or drugs,
right?
So you shouldn't be doing that because you're not making enough money to sustain yourself. And then by offering them this training, building a cutting board, they're not sitting in a local tavern or on a park bench doing illegal drugs or anything, and you're showing them a way out of it. It sounds like a complete plan.
Well, the facility we're building actually brings them in, and that's why we're trying to build this facility. Is it actually has housing for them on the top floor.
So how many will you be able to house up there?
30.
You'll be able to put 30 people out.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I get
them off the street.
I can't tell you how stoked I am about this, Guy. I mean, I am so passionate about being able to do this. And if anything in my life right now, nothing other than God and Mina are more important to me than putting this thing together.
And I've known you for about 8 months now, and I know you as a passionate man. And I know that if you're saying this is the most passionate thing for you, it's driving you. I also see with the studio that you're completing here.
Yeah.
I was here 2 weeks ago, and a lot of this wasn't done.
No.
And these lights weren't in, and you're driven with this.
Well, my dad was a general contractor.
Right. You're
And so
driven with this stuff.
This we're doing. Marty and I are building this with our own two hands.
Right.
None of this is being done by outside people.
Right. And I'm well aware. And of course, off the scene here, we got a complex or a compound chop saw over here, sitting over here to the side. So everything's out of the way, but you're seeing the beautiful work that's done. Mm-hmm. And of course, tell me a little bit about this selection. I know this was has something to do with the backgrounds.
Yeah, that's George Washington crossing the Delaware, which we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Right.
And Marty actually purchased that painting.
Is that an original? Was that the original?
No, I wish it was the original.
Yeah, but you do.
But that actually, Marty bought that. We don't make, the other thing great about Marty, right, is that you can't ask for a better partner.
No, I agree.
We don't make any decisions without each other.
Right.
And so he sent that to me. I think it was like, gotta be around, I don't know if it was midnight or 1 o'clock. It was close to that, right around there, right? But he said, I think this is it. I think we got it. So you're going back what to put here, and we went back and forth in between this picture or a couple different pictures, whatever. We want to find something that was the right picture,
centerpiece
to put in there, because we were trying to figure out, because we have your podcast and whatnot. And it was like, oh my God, that's Marty. You nailed it. I mean, what better to center in this studio, because it says everything.
Yeah. It's definitely has the maritime.
Yeah.
It definitely has the. There is a bit of desperation when they were coming over, but they were also. There is also a look of determination in there.
Yeah.
Who's going to cross the Delaware, frozen Delaware, to kill Hessians?
Well, it ties
Americans.
Yeah. Well, it ties the maritime in everything, right? But when I look at it, I can't think and not absolutely positively get emotional about the fact that is what drove us to be us.
Yeah. Especially
the fact this is 250th anniversary of us.
Yeah.
Right? It also is bittersweet because I look at the way that our country is divided right now and how we have people that honestly can say they're Americans and try to divide us the way that they're dividing us.
Yeah.
And it tears me apart when I look at people and
something's not right. Sure.
They just don't understand what it took to be a man like that and the men that were in that boat. And they can just,
but it was men's like that led to guys like you and Marty building this organization. And I think it goes through through the years and through the lines. He's special. Obviously, he's special. But I mean, you look at all the founding fathers. They're out of the 56 or 58 that signed that document. I think the British rounded up and destroyed about 48 of them. So when they said, our sacred honor, they meant their sacred honor.
I want you to think about that word for a
minute. Yeah.
Honor. Right? We live and we live. Right?
Yeah.
Honor, integrity, duty. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it was all about.
Yeah.
What this is about is fulfilling that.
And that responsibility to do it. You've
Right.
taken that on as a responsibility.
And if we don't, who will?
Who will?
And it's just carrying that forward. Because if we truly still believe in service before self, then this is just a continuum of that same effort. And since we can't go into the mud anymore, then this is how we're going to bring it forward.
Yeah. I would tell my children, there's three things nobody can take from you: your word, your honor, and your pride. There are three things you would have to give up. Never give them up. That was how I would explain it to my children.
Always.
Yeah.
My father, I still have it. And unfortunately, it's not here right now. My father gave me a plaque with my name, with our name on top of it. And it goes in long, long sentence. And I think you probably had it too when you were growing up. And he said, "Don't earn it.
Yeah.
I gave it to you. Don't earn it."
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, when I came over to this with my grandfather, I'm first generation here. When my grandfather changed last name, our last name was Guerra. My grandfather had to change it because they wouldn't allow Italians to work in this country.
Well, Gaetano Anthony Gravino would hire you.
Yeah. Just think about that, right?
Yeah.
They talk all about all this reparations and
Right.
Right. But
Right.
they wouldn't allow Italians to work. So my grandfather had to change his name
to get work,
to
support his family.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Everybody's given a crutch. Back to that crutch thing again.
Yeah.
And they start looking at how can I get something for nothing? And I want something from that. They're doing so well. They have a lot of money. We should take their money. And boy, does that sound socialist, communist? It does to me. It's like, everybody gets an equal opportunity. Some, like the people that we're talking about that are going to, to come in and be helped by your organization. Some of them didn't get that break when they got out. Some of them had some challenges, some things taken away, some holes left inside that that could use some help. And I see this, what you're doing with this organization, as kind of a bridge, a transitional bridge. I know when I got out the first time, I yearned. I got out because I had a young family. The wife didn't want to be traveling; she wanted to go back. And I, okay, yeah, all right, I get it. I want to make this work, but I yearned for it. I really missed the dumb ass comments that we make offset here, and laugh at each other. You would say that in polite company, you'd probably get a lot of dirty looks. But for us, it's hilarious. Those guys,
I still get a lot of dirty
right,
looks.
right. Those guys miss that, and they're going to get that with this organization. Yeah. And I think that's great.
We're going to have fireside chats.
Yeah.
We're building we're actually building a meditation area, and to honor someone, you're going to be invited over for it. But we're going to announce that here in a couple of weeks. Awesome. Actually, in about a week, right? In about a week, we're going to make a dedication to someone very special to the organization.
Awesome.
And that's gonna go up, and that's gonna be on the far end of the property, just on the other side of the building. We're actually gonna have an arena that's gonna be a covered arena. That's gonna be twofold. That's gonna have an arena that's gonna be a scaled arena that can hold events for both dressage and for events for horses, so that we can raise money so that they can come to events in it. But on top, I'm doing an event roof so that we can do not only for us, but for other nonprofits. They'll be able to do events up there, because one of our programs is culinary. So they can come up, do their events here, and then the only thing they have to do is pay a fee via a percentage rather than paying the local resort
Right.
or breakers or whoever.
Right.
A percentage to us, meaning Warriors Haven, USA, a percentage versus paying them.
Right.
So think about this as a nonprofit.
So this is the first you said culinary in the conversation here. So you're going to have cooking schools in here?
Oh yeah, we already have it set up.
You already have it set
up. So a friend of mine owns 3 or 4 restaurants, and so we worked out a deal with them. You know, we have 100 chickens,
right?
So we provide eggs to their restaurant as part of our program. So they set up a culinary school with them. They're going down right now. They're going down to them to be taught. Eventually, we'll have the actual working kitchen in the facility, and that'll have a full-blown kitchen, and that commercial kitchen will be able to service that facility. So when they come up, we can do all the events right there and service that hall, meaning that area.
So you have working schooled chefs that are out there working in prestigious restaurants around this area, and this is a pretty prestigious area that you're going to have come up here and train folks, and also it could probably serve for these guys that can't get out, that are homeless. That you put up here, you can feed them there.
Well, that's the whole deal.
That's the whole deal.
We're actually be feeding them here. Not only live here, they're going to be fed here. The whole 9 yards. I do not want them. Marty and I do not want them to have to worry about a thing. Right? They'll be picked up. They'll come here, and that's it. Right?
So the end goal is
I'm trying to get a van donated so that if they, like not a Sprinter, but like the Ford version, the Dodge version,
right? So
that way, if we need to take them out to Delray or wherever, that once they get here, that we pick them up, they come here, they leave here, they go there, so that way we don't have to worry about anything.
And the end goal is to get them in, get them right,
right,
get them trained up, and get them out, get out and join the world, and enjoy it, and give something back.
That's what
I think. That's a great idea. I mean, that's a win.
Yeah, that's a win. And that's that ultimately, guy, if we can't facilitate, if you look at the brain trust that we have between Marty, myself, you, because you've helped Bruce, he's offered up his services as well, which is unbelievable. I couldn't believe that he was willing to do that as well. And other veterans that we have amongst the community here in South Florida. I think it's honestly, from my lips to God's ears, it's a no-brainer.
It's a win-win.
We just got to get the word out.
Yeah.
Because right now it's been, and granted, I've spent more time right now on the building part versus getting the word out part, because I want it, more ready. We've had some veterans through, but I want it right.
Yeah. And I can see it's coming along here.
Yeah.
It looks fabulous. From the last time I was here, I walked in and was like, my goodness, this has changed. Now, there was walls and stuff over here. They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
So you just had like one of these moments, I'm going to rip this stuff apart.
Well, it was always the plan to take the walls out,
right,
because we wanted this to have all open versus that area, because when people come in here, think about it, right? We want to be able to have a class up here.
Right.
Right. So before they go out and see the horses, or before they go out and see the dogs, or
kind of an orientation thing,
we bring them up here and we can have the TV open, we can do everything and really meet with everybody.
Right.
So that way we're in a good space.
Right.
Right. And now we have sofas, we have chairs, and everybody comes up here and we talk. Or if we just want to come up here and have cigars.
Right. But what I was trying to say there is that you have this vision.
Yeah.
Already, which is that this is going to be for your orientation to get them out in here, but you also have that energy.
Yeah.
To come up here and just
not one plan was drawn, by the way.
Right. It was on the fly. I'm building this plane in flight. That's awesome. I tell you, great job. I really do.
Not one plan, not one sketch. This is all in my head.
Wow, it must be pretty busy up
No,
there.
it's a busy head. That's why there's no hair.
Oh my god! So when do you figure on starting the building for the?
As soon as we raise the money. I mean, I just listen. There's a substantial amount of money already.
Oh yeah, I know.
So that one, I gotta raise the money for it.
Right. And what's your projections on
Dollar figures or timeline?
that?
Timeline. I'd like to get it started by, hopefully, I'm hoping by midsummer.
So we're gonna start beating that bush, get that money in.
Yeah, we're really trying. We have 3 GoFundMe campaigns going on right now. One for the building, one for the operating fund, and one for the equipment.
Oh, okay. So there's actually 3 separate funds.
Yeah.
To keep that thing going. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So one's just for the equipment, because equipment's on its own. You know, when you think about the bigger planers for the, just the equipment itself, because the stuff that I have is for that type of shop down there. Right. Then you have shops that are, because I have 15-inch planers.
Right.
Planers you need for the larger stuff are 20-inch planers.
Wow.
Right. And they're a lot bigger.
Wow. So once you start breaking ground, you say by maybe summer if everything goes right.
I think we have we do a lot with Moss Construction and with other stuff. Like we're trying to work out a deal right now, Moss Construction for solar and stuff like that. I think I could probably get a construction company to come in and help volunteer.
So some sustainable energy and stuff as well too, reducing that cost. That's awesome.
Yeah, Moss is 3 or 4 of the guys over at Moss are really good people, and I think I can get them to come over and really help on that side.
And is that a local?
That's a local. Yeah, they're really good
contractors.
Well, they do stuff all over the world, all over the country, including Hawaii. And I really think they'll help. I'd be surprised if they wouldn't. Yeah. But I don't want to put them on. I know we're going to be on. I don't want to put them on the spot.
No,
I really think they're going to do something to try to help. At least volunteer.
Well, that's part of that circle again of good people throwing stuff in there, and you have a sense for that. Obviously, you've been successful with it so far, right? Yeah. And,
well, I think it's more God reaching down.
I totally believe that.
My faith is just unbelievable, and I think God does things for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
And I think if you do things for the right reasons, and He comes down and helps.
He'll be that help. Yeah. I keep seeing, when you're saying it, I'm thinking of that movie, 13 Hours, with Tonto on the rooftop saying, that if you do the right thing, God will just protect you.
Yeah.
And
I've been there too.
Yeah.
There's no atheist in a foxhole, bro.
No. You cut the buttons off to get closer to the ground. So, but I believe that's true too. And I think that from what I'm seeing, and I think what other people will see, I think that is definitely there's some intervention and some help with that. But not to take away from what you and Marty are doing with driving this train, because there's definitely some.
Well, I will tell you this: Marty's more driving it than I am. That he is the most detail-oriented guy.
Oh yeah,
and he's got a list for everything.
Yeah. Yes, he does. He and I worked together before. And then the Blackwater thing, and then kind of went separate ways for a while. But when you guys called in July, I was like, my son's out here for a birthday. Will he be gone by Monday? Yeah, he leaves Sunday. All right, we do a Monday night. See you then. Okay. All right, I'll be over.
Well, listen, man, it was my pleasure to meet you.
This is pleasure's been all mine. I feel honored to be associated with this organization in some small way. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. So you're looking at like a program for. Is there any kind of a structure for this program? I mean, is there like a calendar thing? They're going to come in. They're going to go through this orientation in here, and then they go into woodwork. Should take maybe what?
3 different programs. So they have one that's just a 1-day program.
Yeah.
Then they have a program that is a 3-week program, and then they have an apprenticeship program.
Will it be state certified apprentice? or just say,
Well, that's depending upon, right?
Okay.
So like we have one that works with a Stanley Steamer. Like we've already
Right.
signed up Stanley Steamer.
also,
So Stanley Steamer takes them and then they become a Stanley Steamer apprentice where they actually go to work for them,
like it, I
Right.
like it.
right? So once they go over there, they've come in, they've applied for them, they go to work for them, and then they go over. I'm trying right now to get in a geo group for, let's say, an MP wants to go over and work in the prison system,
Right.
right? So I'm trying to get into the geo group, and if the geo group wants to come over and apply and to do the same thing like Sammy Seymour did and interview MPs, right? They can come over and interview them and then apprentice over at the geo group for them. Now it goes all the way up the line. So same thing with what we were talking about with the mechanics. They come over, they
What a great resource that is too.
right, and again, zero cost to the veteran or the employer.
Right.
We're not looking to bang either one of them out.
Right.
We're not trying to be a recruiting firm because recruiting firms notoriously don't work.
Right.
They have a vested interest in pushing, right?
Right.
We don't want to push. We want it to work out for both parties.
And I think you got a good source of employment of employees. Military guys, gals, have all been. It's pretty well known that they got good work ethics. Once they get themselves squared away again, get focused again, good work ethics. Employers are all looking for good people with
Let's
that.
bring up Moss again.
Work.
Marty and I met
Win-win.
with Moss last week.
Right.
Two things they wanted to do. All they cared about was getting. They want to hire They want to hire military personnel all over the country. Okay. Two requirements. Right. They need to be able to want to travel. All right. And they don't even care. They're willing to give people second chances. All they care about, good work ethic, right?
Right.
Willing to travel, right? And they need to be focused, right?
Willing to learn.
Willing to learn.
Yeah.
That's it. As long as you're willing to do those things, right? Moss is all into giving you a chance. And they're willing to work with us.
People be foolish not to take a chance.
Right.
Take a.
What a great organization that is.
Right.
And so that's what Marty and I are focused on, spending our time going out and finding those resources. So that's why we haven't had time to go out and look for money,
Right.
because we're more interested right now in trying to find those things. That's why we need help. That's why we're trying to get the word out.
Right.
Because we can either do one of two things. We can go find these opportunities, or we can go knock on doors to try to find money.
Right.
I'd rather go find the opportunities.
Right. Right. And right now you're building something here to get them
Yeah.
in. I guess it's a step at a time.
Yeah.
I guess a step at a time. We have to figure out a way to accelerate that and get
From your lips to God's ears.
yeah and get some people that need that help in for this program. Peter, it was great talking with you, buddy.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. I appreciate everything
Guy,
you're
you're the
doing.
best.
Thank you, man.